first order of business tonight is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I would, I would move that the minutes be approved as written.
Second.
Can we get that one sentence?
I did get that, yes.
Thank you.
Any
Just
changes
so
or
we-
deletions,
respond.
anything, additions? Seeing none, those in favor, I am not gonna vote because I wasn't here during the regular meeting. Okay. Selectmen's comments, Tom.
Yeah, a couple things. It looks like Burgess finally came and fixed the Wi-Fi,
Yeah, they showed up yesterday
so
afternoon.
that's going to make a lot of people happy. Is it working?
Seems to be.
Yeah.
The real test will be next Wednesday night. We'll have truck
Oh,
checks.
truck checks.
And I'll have 20 people try to use it.
So that's instead of having the repeater over here, it's a new full Wi-Fi access point. So it should be a lot better than it used to be. And these just came in. This is a mailing that's going to go out to the town that the Climate Resilience Committee is asking citizens to take a survey about what they care about in terms of climate-related change and resilience to emergency events and bad weather and stuff like that. So
That's great. When is it going out?
as soon as I can get the committee to come and count them into piles.
They were handing out information at the 8th grade auction.
Oh, good, because somebody asked me about
Okay.
that, and I was like, I didn't know I said I'd do that. So good. I'm glad somebody got this because I was.
That's it for me.
Okay.
Okay. Allison?
Yeah, I guess a couple things from the state budget. One of them is changes to the EPS formula in the school budget, but Jenny's here, so I'll wait to, we can talk about that later. The other thing I'll say that was added to funding at the last minute was some additional jail money. It's only $4 million for the whole state, so I don't know how that is divvied up, but every little bit helps. So that's it.
Where's the extra money coming from, though?
It's got,
Okay.
well, it's either the general fund or the rainy day fund. I'm not exactly sure. I can look back in.
Dale?
Nothing.
Jason?
I just have a few things. So obviously, town meeting's 2 weeks from tonight. So 1 week from tonight, I think we're moving forward with Mike to finalize our.
I want to read that.
Okay, yep. We've got to finalize our game plan, figure out our order of things, and you and I have a couple more little things to work on, right? Yep. The other thing is, you heard downstairs some of you that the MCOG grant is almost ready to be good for the engineering funding, hopefully, or applying for engineering funding for the Hedge Bridge culvert replacement someday down the road. Been working with them folks, and so see where that goes. I have two other things that I could either wait for old business, or do it now. What do you want to do?
What's that?
I have two other things that I can either wait for old business or do now.
Would wait for old business.
Okay. Yep. So that's it.
That's it. I just wanted to say that the Saginaw County Budget Committee, we managed to cut $225,500 out of the budget. Suggestions. I say we cut it. We didn't cut it. That's
Right, you don't have final say,
right? To the commissioners, which they can just throw in the trash, or they can actually use them, or whatever. On a $14,900,000 and some thousand dollar budget, $225,000 isn't going to do much for us. So we're still going to get hammered by for some reason, we have the second highest monetary increase in the county and the second highest percentage increase. No, excuse me, the fifth highest monetary increase, but the second highest percentage increase. Same as with the Irish here. We just seem to always get hammered. I mean, we're just everybody's favorite target.
Is it a per capita?
Yeah. It's by state valuation, what the state says our town is worth.
Okay.
And because we didn't read out,
No. They adjust for that.
do they?
No,
Yes.
they adjusted for that even last year.
Yeah.
Even when we
When we were like 40,
reporting
yeah,
60%, the state was figuring they were adding in the other 40 anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, we did the best we could. You know, it just seems hard because every department head that came in, oh, everything's crucial. Everything, there's no waste in this budget. We just got to have all this money.
Have the commissioners ever said to budget head, no, department heads, just, you know, come up with 5%, 10% cuts, just,
We actually talked about that. We're gonna try that next year. We may just tell every budget, every department head that we want them to cut by
Yeah.
X number of percent and let them see what they
yeah,
come up with.
yeah,
But everything is just crucial.
yeah,
I mean,
I know,
they
yep.
just need everything.
yeah.
And they didn't build one communication tower. And who knows what they did with the money.
Is that ARPA? Must have been ARPA money?
Yeah.
Yeah. When will the commissioners make a decision?
They voted on it yesterday at 2:00 in the afternoon, preliminary one.
Oh,
And-
do you know what they,
I haven't heard.
There's still a public,
There is a public hearing.
do you know that date yet?
I can give you that date. I don't have it with me right now, but I'll make sure everybody gets it because I just assumed all of us show up and
I think quite a few
sit
might
there,
want to.
sit there and cry and, you know, kick our feet on the floor or whatever it takes. And, you know, but no, it just seems like I say, we just seem to be everybody's whipping boy. You know, I mean, it is, I don't know, it's discouraging. Public comments. Now is the time to talk to us about anything that's not on the agenda. Please wait if it's on the agenda. Debbie?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Make something up. Okay, town administrator
I
report.
think Tom wanted to say something.
Oh, Tom, you wanted to say, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
That's all right. Just wanted to reserve any questions that I might have for later, since the public gets to speak now rather than later. If there's anything that comes up that there's a question on, I can reserve my question for later. But I also want to raise a question relative to your budget issue. I don't know what to do about the commissioners, but as far as school budget, I did not attend or did not find out what the budget was this year, but I did attend last year. And the discussions regarding the school budget and the amendments that were made to it were basically revolving around how many social workers that the school should hire. And I interpret that to mean social type workers that are going to pay attention to the emotional concerns of the students. My concern is that the interpretations of what's going on now with Title IX, and that seems to hit a chord yesterday. I'm not sure how that's going to sort out, but when the opportunity is there for twisting how that's presented to the public and an interpretation of that certainly leaves a lot to be desired. If you can eliminate things that were in the request and turn things around so that it's worded as though, number one, confuses people, and number two, basically lies, and they get away with it because they're in charge. The concern is those expenditures for social workers and whatever else is perceived to be needed in the school budget could be a lot of savings if the school was actually to perform the way it used to apparently about 20 years ago or so. It was in the top 5 in the nation, now it's in the bottom 5. So obviously something's not working. And so if you keep doing the same thing and expect a different result, you're not going to get anything better. So my concern is there are people, and some in this room, that I won't point out, but don't understand the definitions of what sex is. And so that's a problem. And I just wanted to bring it before the select board to have you understand that there's so many intertwinings of who's in charge and who's interpreting things. And if they don't have the right definitions and they don't understand that, then we can't have a conversation about it. I'm sorry, we're going down the wrong road. So I just wanted to point that out.
I can tell you that at town meeting, I'm gonna literally beg people to say no in June on the school budget. I think maybe if we could, one time, have the school budget fail to pass, then things might turn around. But the chances of that is somewhere between slim and none. Jennifer, do you wanna weigh in on any of this part?
On Tom's question or
Yeah.
on the budget in general?
Well, she's on the agenda.
I'll wait for my time on the agenda.
Okay.
That's okay.
All right, town administrator's report.
So today, I put on the website and on Facebook the sign up for the Household Hazardous Waste Day. And within an hour and a half, we had reached our capacity. Which, and then about 5 minutes after I received the call from Michael from the Bath Public Works, I had phone calls how upset people were that they had missed the sign up.
So should we, next year,
That's
yeah,
That's what I was gonna bring up. So it seems to be growing in, popularity, and we have continuously budgeted $2,500. So what Michael had said was that, where did I put it? They charge, so just the setup fee is $2,420, which is distributed among all the towns. But they do each participant brings an average of 3 units, which costs about $115 per resident. So with our share of the setup and 20 residents, we're at like $2,500 max.
and that's what we budget, right?
And that's what we budget.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think 20 people is that many. But for us to reach capacity within an hour and a half, then, we might want to start looking at increasing that budget, so.
And this has just become more of an issue this year, right?
Yeah, well, I think it filled up, not in 2 hours, but it filled up pretty quickly last year too, I believe.
Well, yeah, I mean, Mike had called me this morning and left me a message about if we were gonna participate, and when I read the email, I had heard, what I interpreted was that he was going to reach back out to the towns once that they were gonna go live, and if we were gonna participate, and so when I told him yes, he said, okay, I'll make it live, because people had been calling to reserve, and he said, well, we don't have Woolwich's that they were gonna participate yet, so I said, yes.
Yeah.
So as soon as he put it on there, it filled up.
Does he keep a waiting list?
No, which I think we should do, because last year you said that
Yeah.
people did not show up.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I had a lady call who asked if she could pay out of pocket.
yeah.
And I said, that's not my determination. You can call Bath Public
Yeah,
Works and see
yeah,
if they'll allow you to do
yeah.
that.
Would we keep the waiting list, or would they?
I would think they would.
They would, yeah.
But, because they have the sign-ups.
Yeah. If we
But
could
I
do
also
that.
can ask you if you want to be the
Oh,
rep
yes,
again.
yes, it's on my calendar.
Okay, perfect. So 9 to 1 on May 2nd,
Yep,
this Saturday, 9 to 1.
I have a question, Allison,
yes,
are there usually any no-shows from the people that signed up for
yes,
Woolwich?
yes.
All
Not a
Somehow
ton.
or other, that needs.
And so I adjusted my Facebook page and said, look, this is filled up.
I know, I would.
Yeah.
Please, if you can't come, please let us know. So,
right. Right, because it's a waste of.
and we did that last year, but there were still, I don't know, 3, 4, I can't remember, 3, 4, 5 people. I mean, not a ton, but if it's only 20, it's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
So we try to shame people, we try to kill people.
Yes, you're signing up, show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What time, is it 9 to 2?
9 to 1.
9 to 1.
Could they have a standby list?
They actually, what they do is they look to, whoever's representing the town, and they say, can this person go in? And since I knew that a couple of people hadn't shown up or weren't going to show, it's like at the end of the day, it's like.
Do they put your phone number on there?
Put my phone number?
No, the phone number of who's supposed to show up in their time slot.
I don't
Because
know.
I would, if the people don't show up, be like, hey, you're
It's
supposed
not-
to be
I
here.
can't remember what.
I don't know. I've
20
never heard.
people is not so many, but what, somebody could call them the day before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
confirm.
It
Hey,
just seems like, it's a kind of a shame if 2 or 3 people don't show up.
That's
There's
right.
2 or 3 people
I know.
down the list that.
I know,
Waste-
yeah,
waste
yeah.
of stuff.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, couple
Maybe I'll
people.
reach out to Michael tomorrow and ask him.
Yeah, a couple of
And see
people.
if
Yeah,
we
see
can
if
do
it's
a
on the
waiting
phone,
list.
a phone number or an email, because I could do that right
Yeah.
here.
Shame them.
Shame them.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I received an email today from Ruth Indrick, and she was asking about a grant that we were awarded back in 2023. And this is for the George Wright Road project, and it was for $150,000. And it was for the 2022 Stream Crossing Public Infrastructure Improvement Project. And I started looking and I said, oh, we've never received that grant. And we were supposed to have had a contract with them. So I reached out to DEP, and I reached out to the gentleman who wrote the letter, who said, the award letter to us, and I cannot get a hold of him. I
What's his
left him a
name?
message, I sent him an email, I spoke, John McLean. And I have not heard back from him, but I did reach out to the town manager in Monmouth, because they were awarded a project as well, and I asked them if they had gotten the money, and they said they haven't received it yet either, but they do have a contract signed. So I'm trying to figure out, because he was under the impression that this was one where a lot of people had resigned or quit in the department, and so it kind of just fell off.
2022 or?
Yeah, and so
Coming out of COVID.
they had to like go up the chain of commands to figure out where to go to. So I think that's my process of figuring out
Okay.
where our money's at and where the contract is. So hopefully, because the George Wright project has been
Yeah.
on the back burner
I wonder
for the
what it
last
was-
2 years or so.
I wonder what it was for specifically.
Doesn't matter, we're taking one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I know a couple,
That's right.
if I can help, let me know.
Yeah. So everybody saw my email today that I sent out to the chair of the Edgecombe Select Board. So I had a nice conversation with Ben from the Maine Marine Patrol, and what he basically told me was that the Edgecombe Harbor Master said that the Select Board put a no trespassing sign on the boat, created a letter of forfeiture, and that determines that they are now the owner of the boat.
Great.
So regardless of what this, Matt Pelletier, yeah. So, I spoke with that Ben gentleman and then also his supervisor. So I did send that out to the harbor master, the select board chair, and then somebody else.
Who's
So
the supervisor? Is that Wesley?
the
Marine Patrol supervisor.
I wanna say it is Wes.
Wesley, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's who it is, yes. So, when I reached out to Deputy Tebow at Saginaw County on Monday, he just, all day long, he just did research to find this. First it was Pinkham, and then he found out it was Pelletier, so that was nice, and he was talking to the Wiscasset police chief, he talked to Edgecombe, he talked to, he did a lot of research, so I was very grateful for him, and he was up and beyond. So hopefully we'll get the boat removed soon. And then I received a call from a Tracy Adams who wants to gift a piece of property to the town of Woolwich. So if you guys want to discuss that at some other time, it's on Shaw Road. You know where it is.
I think so, and I think the recommendation would be, Mike and I talked about it the other day too, is maybe we would have her come to a meeting and we talk about it, because I don't know that, I don't
Is that
know.
adjacent to her house?
I'm not sure if it's even a usable piece of property or
Yeah.
it's a
She just wants to give
difficult
it.
piece of property, but I think the best thing to do is have her come.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Okay, I'll reach out to her and see if she'll want to.
whatever, I mean, wait till,
Want to attend.
yeah,
Maybe wait till after town meeting.
it'll be in May, right?
Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, that's all I have.
That's it. Road Commissioner, Jack.
All is pretty good. We get the mud season pretty good. We're posted down. Meeting with at least one paving company tomorrow and another one in the next day or two. Just painting prices. So, pretty good. I'll be grading shortly before when they dry up a little more. So, we're in pretty good shape. Any complaints or anything?
No.
Thank you. Do we have a report from Mike?
Yes.
David, before we move on, could we, in case he goes, do we want to sign that same thing? I know we're going to sign it probably, but the DOT's asked for the same exemption for the one.
DOT's asked for, that overweight thing, for the, Middle Road project. So, whether we sign it or not, they're gonna do what they gotta do, so.
Yeah.
We might as well sign it, don't you think?
Well, you made a choice of it.
Not really, it's the same thing, same language,
Yep.
This summer.
Do they actually ever do it?
On occasion, they might have a truck that's overloaded, they'll do a short distance on one of those roads, but I don't see up there where.
Well, the only thing they might,
What road they would
well,
use.
they Mill Road,
They don't know.
they might go around, we don't always know, Allison. You know what I mean? If they- if they
Yeah,
get
I
a-
just wondered,
Yeah, if they get a permit, they do it, and Sean doesn't see it, or you don't see it, we don't know.
This would be, maybe they'd haul material down and come across the mill.
Well,
Says on there, the maximum speed for trucks on any municipal road would be 25 miles an hour.
Sure.
You know, they're not gonna go all
How about weight? Do you think the weight?
Sure.
I read it earlier, and it talked about the same language, that they would permit it like regular overloaded
Yeah.
weight. But that's the whole idea is, nuts and bolts, if you had to move a 30-ton excavator around the,
No, but if they haul a bunch of material with
Yeah.
trailer dumps to save the road up,
it says that
the
they,
edges of the road, we're gonna have a problem.
well, and it says that they'll be responsible and they'll monitor it.
We've been down that road before.
DOT requires a payment bond and a performance bond from the contractor, so I would think if the contractor damaged our roads to any great extent,
We haven't had any bad experiences with contractors lately.
Debbie, I think I heard your question, but this is for later this summer. It's still a ways away, but all we can do, and we've done in the past, I think, is we sign them and we gotta watch
Take pictures.
and keep an eye on it. Yeah. I think one time we tried not signing it,
And they did it.
and they did it.
All right, so motion to sign this,
So moved.
Second. Those in favor?
The best result could be is that when this starts to happen, I can speak with the contractor and give him, tell him, yeah, watch it.
Okay.
So,
Take pictures.
mhm.
Yeah, they were supposed to be bid this month and then awarded, so I don't think we know yet. There you go, Gail, sorry, it's right there.
Well, you see, they're gonna work from both sides of this thing, right?
Yeah, right.
They're gonna have to go around the loop one way or the other.
And maybe if the material comes out on goods and it's coming down, starting in the mill. And if they haul with big trucks and so on, it's just gonna be thrown, you know? But we'll watch it, we'll do the best we can do, that's all we can do.
Post all the roads at 15 miles an hour.
Yeah.
12.
All right, moving on.
Lights, report.
5 building permits, 1 new principal with ADU on Dana Mill Road, obviously. 2 new accessory structures, a deck and a garage, 2 residential roof solar permits. 5 plumbing permits, 4 internal and 1 septic. A sign permit, planning board approved 2 business directional signs on Saginaw Bridge, northbound and before the Georgetown Rouseck exit, Route 1 to South Palms at Woodland Institute. Complaints, 1170 Old Stage Road, no responses yet. Sign on the George Wright, on Route 1 by George Wright Road, sent second letter after name mistake. And Stagecoach Road, possible land use issue. EMS director.
Okay, so we had, in April so far, we've had 14 calls, 14 patients and 9 transports. We went to Dresden once in the middle of the night, and MC1 has responded twice. We had a great training this past Sunday. Life Flight came in, did a ground safety course. We had 29 people from Woolwich, Georgetown, Pittsburgh, Rouseck, Wiscasset, Saginaw Sheriffs, EMA, Lincoln County Search and Rescue Team came as well. So, so it was a really good training, big turnout from all around the area. We had, I guess, also I want to say to the telecommunications people in the room, it's National Telecommunications Week. So thank you to SAG Dispatch and all the people who work there that keep us going. So we have 2 new employees in the works, a driver and an advanced EMT. Both will be standby, so they're in training phase right now. So it'd be nice to have more people on board. And also, ambulance medical billing reached out to extend our contract with them. They want to do a 3-year contract with an automatic 3-year extension unless we cancel. Same percentage, 7%, same work. So I tried to print it out. My printer is not responding to me right now. So I think I should go ahead and sign it and we should extend it. It's the same deal. They do a lot of work for us, so. I think that's.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Yeah. Okay. Move on. Sean.
8 calls so far this month. Brush fire season is upon us. The Forest Service has started their daily fire weather again for all municipal fire departments. So we've been monitoring that, updating the sign accordingly. All of our brush fire equipment is in service, so we're ready to go. Engine 3 is going to be headed to Yarmouth Saturday morning for the day for the fire 1 and 2 class. They have a hands-on every Saturday for 4 months. That's this class, and this Saturday they've asked for different participating departments to send equipment when they need it. And so I guess one of our captains is going to take it down for the day and assist with that. So, and that is all I have.
Anybody have any questions?
Did you hear anything? Did you hear anything, Kim, today on how court went?
No, I know that Ben Day came in this morning to pick up the letter, but I had also already sent that over to the district attorney, so I have not heard.
Stay tuned.
On that note, I just had I'm having my house painted next month or month after, and the labor to do my entire house is $4,600. I think then added that will make it look close. Okay, old business, Jason.
All right, so I have a couple of things. Kim, do you have anything first?
I do not.
Okay, so 2 things. We talked about the lights. So the warning lights up over Mountain Road on Route 1. If you guys all remember, we had a DOT reached out and we have to have them attached to the new poles. So it's only one end. It's not the powered end. It's the anchored end on the east side, I guess, of the road. So I've been working with all these companies trying to get prices, and we finally have a written quote. And DOT reached out Monday, and this has to be done sooner than later. So here's your copy. There's one for everybody. Got this guy. This is $25.50. It's actually a little better than we thought, but it's very self-explanatory. You can have one for Kim over there.
This is the deal where
Yes.
they supply the light, but we supply the maintenance.
Yes, yeah. And so I talked to Patrick at CMP, I've talked to everybody, they can't do it, obviously, I'm just trying to figure a way that we wouldn't have to spend much money. I think we were originally quoted $35 from another company, but DOT gave a list of companies and only 2 responded out of 7. You can't get them to talk to you, but this fellow did.
And this would be the whole thing?
This is the whole thing, and if we choose to do it, which we really don't have a whole lot of options, but he could do it in the next couple of weeks. CMP said that the project out there is a unique project where it can't be signed off until all these things get changed over. And I don't know if you guys recall, but there's a new pole, there's 2 bad poles, and as soon as this gets moved over, these other 2 poles come out. I don't really understand the whole logistics.
So we're really not in control of when we want to do this?
Yeah.
No, but we are responsible for anchoring our end.
Right, but we don't know when their part's gonna be.
Oh, we don't care about that. We just-
Oh, okay,
yeah,
I thought this
guy can
was
do this
dependent. Okay.
within a couple of weeks later.
So the light's basically going to be in the same place, it's just hooked to a new pole
Yeah.
on each end, or just?
No, just the one end, just on the side that they put there's a new big tall 50-foot pole.
So we don't have to wait for what you just said?
No, they're waiting
Okay.
for us.
I think we
I think
should
that's
do
for
it
after.
sooner rather than later, because the last thing we want to do is have a delay in traffic during
Right.
the summer months.
Right.
So what,
Motion to have this, little electrical company move that light,
So moved.
Second.
any discussion?
No.
Just we have to pay for it.
I
No.
just asked the boss if we had the money, she said we did.
Okay, 'cause I figured we had to continue to do something else.
Thank you
It's
for.
tax time.
No, I meant where we pay for it from, we have to.
Oh, the contingency?
Right?
Yeah.
I would think it would come out of the
Yeah.
contingency, because we really don't have a traffic light moving fund.
Thank you for
No,
doing this, Jason.
No, it's just, I got into a big long conversation with Mr. Farron from DOT, and we talked about all this, and he explained that it's no different than Comcast or whatever, that we have an agreement, which I don't think any of us were really involved in years ago, but, and it's our responsibility, and then he called Monday and wanted to know when, and I said, well, we're trying to find some sort of money, and say that.
Okay.
Anyway,
So motion's been made and seconded to do this, those in favor? Okay.
All right, so the second thing I have is,
Don't lose, kid.
is Brewer's Property Management. So this is the annual, Tammy does a really good job making
What is it?
copies. This is for the Tanner Square cleanup.
Okay.
Not a super big deal. He's actually lower than last year.
Yeah.
It's 2,000, and I think I looked up what I saw, we paid 2,400. So I know we have this money, it's
Yeah, we
under,
have, what, 2,500 in the account, right?
yeah, it's under budget, and it's due, just to be clear, it's due to some of the efforts of the folks down there.
You gonna cut back the bamboo again this year?
Yeah, well, there's been some great work done by.
The neighbor, Chris.
Yeah, and then Richard Fisher. Yeah, yeah. If you guys remember, he went down with his
Yep.
950-foot ladder and
Yeah.
did the light bulb. No, but he did all these.
Yeah,
And he was
yeah.
down there yesterday.
Yeah.
Was he?
Oh yeah, he was out there working. I went
Wow.
by talking
Is
about.
he the one that takes care of the flag now?
I think he
Yes.
kind of slid that off to him. Yeah, he's retired now, and so he's helping out. I think this is good. You know, it's good news. It's slow.
You think it's a reasonable price?
I do.
Like it is lower than last year. Motion to clean up Town Square?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
You know, again.
Is did the last time I was down there, the lights in the tunnel were not
And that will
working?
come out of the,
Is that-
budget.
That's right. The money.
Who does that?
Yeah.
Who replaces the lights?
David, I think.
I think we're responsible for lights.
Yeah.
Well, I say we at the
He
town.
just said.
Okay.
Well, last time I was down there, which is a while ago,
They're solar companies.
So, Jennifer Richmond, tell us how wonderful thing you got.
You wanna come on up? Or like, you know.
Yeah, come a little
or-
closer, Jay. Come on down. David, just in full disclosure, everybody has a
Copy
copy.
of that, yes.
Yeah, we're gonna talk, that, I got that.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to share that. I don't, well, it was just a draft and somebody,
Did you give Jennifer a copy of this?
do we object if she has a copy?
No, I think, didn't somebody send you a copy of
Did you get an
the,
email of this?
of the letter?
Did I send you this? No? Do you want a copy?
Yes.
Okay.
Here,
Yeah,
Mike.
okay.
We may, I.
It's a draft.
Yeah.
It's a draft.
It's a draft.
It's gonna change, probably.
We're talking about sending them to the RSU, tell them that, we'll go now. We can't charge us that much money.
Well, the first thing I
They got no
would,
money.
Let me start with the good news. The good news is that the budget amount was reduced. It was reduced in large part because of the health insurance. Premiums came in lower than what was projected. So.
I saw you right there. Was that before?
This
what-
week.
Before, I mean, is it include, you
That's
said this?
included in the 4/13/2026
Okay.
budget
Yeah,
that
okay.
we have out there. So the increase, it's the largest increase in the budget, as always, is salary and benefits. The salary for this year, the increase was reduced to $1,424,369. And the increase for the benefits was reduced to $750,627. So those are the two large parts of our budget. And so the Woolwich percentage increase went from 10.55 down to 8.96%, 8.96%. That still is the largest percentage increase in all of the towns. Continues to be one of the largest percentage increases over the last couple of years, with the exception of Rouseck had a really huge increase one
Like
year.
12% or something, I think, one year.
22.79%.
I stand corrected.
But because they have so few students,
Yes,
any change is a much bigger percentage. So the percentages are important because they show trends, but as an old math teacher, I always try to make sure people understand same percentage increase every year isn't the same dollar increase, because our bucket, our hole, the per of our hole keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Do you have a dollar increase for us?
Yes.
490, right? Something.
Yes.
Not to speak for you, but I think it's like just under half million.
Yeah, 490.
Yeah,
490.
490,420.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
490,429.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the current, and of course, it's a proposal.
It is a proposal.
Okay, and that's just the.
That's just the increase.
Just- Yes.
That's not our total share.
No.
Right-ish.
$500,000.
That's
But
so
it-
cute,
I
David.
know.
But it wasn't
I just
right.
wanted to point that out to the public,
Yes.
you know,
Well,
because, you know, people say, well, gee, $500,000, that's gotta be what we pay the school. No, we paid the school
Well,
$455,000
In the
every month.
Wisconsin paper last time, we were budgeting 45,000 to the school. That was a little typo, Phil.
No, that should
Per
say-
month. I went, oh, I wish. Yeah,
But,
it
yeah.
was 45.
So-
Go
so
ahead,
Jen-
Jennifer.
Wait, so the two things, the healthcare and the
45,000 per month.
Yeah,
salary,
I wish.
the benefits, that accounts for this
I'm
change?
sorry, I can't.
Sorry.
What you said about the healthcare costs and the and the benefits, or the, I guess, salary,
Yeah.
is that account
Yes.
for this?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's in that, copy of that budget.
Gotcha.
Is in
Okay.
there. You know, so we are looking at another large increase, and we have historically have had the largest increase across the system. You know, it has always been based on student count. This year, our student count is down to 399.5. Don't ask me how they get a 0.5 per student. Last year it was 402.5. So student count has gone down incrementally, but of course the prices are increasing. A large portion of what we're looking at over the last couple of years, last year was a huge increase for our labor contracts. Our labor cost is a new contract, and that contract is a 3-year contract, and that resulted in a pretty large increase. That has to do with salaries and benefits. Another large increase, you know, ever-growing increase in this budget is our additional programs that we keep adding year after year. I am the one person on our school board that have asked for cuts every budget in the last 3 or 4 years and have lost out my one vote. But this year we are starting to hear for the first time other school board members acknowledging that there is a need to reduce the budget. This week, though, it was interesting because at the beginning of the meeting, there were people saying we need to reduce it. And by the end of the meeting, they were saying, let's add back in more positions. That the administration, and this is the administration's budget right now, this is the school board budget. This is the budget that comes from our superintendent, staff, and our principals. And the principals got up and stood in front of everyone yesterday and said, this is why we think we have to have these cuts in our individual schools. So again, this is only, you know, these numbers are coming from the administration saying, here's our best case at cutting costs.
Can I don't mean to interrupt, can I stop here a second?
Yeah.
So two things, obviously many of us attended the first meeting two weeks or so ago,
Mhm.
and I, for one, want to commend you for speaking up and saying what you said, and I know there's a whole big board, and a whole bunch of people, and I think you represent us well. I think it's a hard road for you. And so the second question is, do you feel, and maybe you're going to say this, but is there room for more, is there room in this whole budget to save some more money?
Yes, and I've asked specifically for that.
Okay.
I have made very specific program cuts that I've asked for every single year. There was a phrase used on the board that says, it isn't perfect, but it's still something, which means even though we can't offer all the programs and all the services that we offer, we want to be able to offer something, which means instead of eliminating programs, could we reduce all these costs evenly across the board? My response to that was, if we're gonna try to do something for everybody, there is a very specific program that started with COVID funding, and I asked for that program to be cut. Again, every year I ask for it to be cut, because I believe that the program started with grant funding and federal funding should not ever reach the local level. They should be there for as long as we have that extra funding, and when we don't have that extra funding, that those programs should end up on the local side, which they've done year after year, which I've expressed my concern about year after year.
So I have another question. So, are there, like this year, are there proposals for new programs? I mean, does that happen every? I mean, I know there were a lot during COVID.
Right. There are not specific programs, but I would say increases to the program.
Right, yeah.
Staffing increases.
Yes, yeah.
We receive increases to current programs that exist at Morse, you know, which aren't costing us anymore. They'll offer a new version of something or additional, but that's not additional cost. What we see continually, you know, in our budgets for additional funding are more funding for behavioral programs, more funding for social workers, more funding for medical costs, and then the always ever increasing special ed budget, which is in part, what legally is required to serve some programs that serve specifically for Bath residents, and then other programs that are just, as we continue to identify more and more students within the special ed services, that those costs continue to increase. On that side, I'll say that we are bringing this year, first bringing a program that was served outside our district, which we legally have to do, which costs us a lot of money, way more than the average cost of the student cost. We're bringing that program back in.
At CDS?
Yeah, no, that's another program. So we're bringing a program in which will hopefully help us save some of those outplacement costs for special ed. I've been a big proponent of that. I think we should have our own internal specific school that handles all those outplacement programs. There's a balance between having to add the staff that keeps everyone safe for those programs and the cost of having those students just leave the district to get those services elsewhere. CDS is another area where we are getting funding right now for what the state is requiring us now to educate 3-year-olds.
3-year-old special ed.
Special ed services. We are getting that funding now. I have no idea if that funding is going to cover the costs or not. And my expectation is that funding will last for a couple of years, and then that cost will be back into our local budget if the pattern follows everything else. And so when I asked for cuts, and I talked to the administration about them, I made the point by saying, we funded a lot of these programs and services for our kids before we had a lot of other programs before we had this behavioral programs, before we had a lot of the other services that we're doing now. We could afford funding pre-K. Dr. Burden, my pediatrician, Dr. Burden, came forward and said, this district needs a pre-K, and we said, yes, we can afford to do that now. But that was long, but since then we've had so many more expenses added to the budget that now that's even a struggle. So I don't know if we need to look at the programs we're providing, or the number of staff that are providing those programs, or our expectations to what we want to be able to be offering our students that are above and beyond academics. We have a lot of great programs that get a lot of great publicity for our school systems. We have a unified program that puts together regular and special ed on academics and non-academic things. We're one of the first in the state to adopt a cell phone banning policy, and the cost that went through. We have another program which serves a small but very needy group of kids, allowing them a credit pathway alternative, which creates a very tiny program for some kids to be in all day long, and it does get them to come to school, and it does help them, and that's a really intensive cost and services program that was created with COVID funding, So our town and our citizens want to do the very best we can for our students. There's no question for that. And I believe that the people who work in our schools, I worked in them 7 years before I became a school board member for the last 13. I know how dedicated they are to our students. But I've been saying for the last 3 or 4 years, this is not a sustainable budget for our taxpayers. We really can't. We've got to be able to look at all the wonderful things that we offer the students and find out really where our core is. There's going to be, as Al said, we have an EPS reform formula that's coming out that will help the RSU. We're one of those lucky ones that will help us a little bit. There was also some money in the supplementary budget that was just passed, and that extra money is going to go to school districts that have a high level of students that are economically disadvantaged. I asked DOE today, what's the formula of economically disadvantaged? DOE said there's a poverty rate of over 40%. Our entire district just barely tips over that, so we may get some money from that.
Yeah. And that's going to be further tweaked in the next go round.
Right.
I mean, so not
that was
next
a supplemental
year.
budget that money.
Yeah, right. Oh, right. Yeah.
It'll come in the summer after we have the budget.
Did you happen to find a number? Because I remember, I think I told you. Is it 45? Is it 85? How much?
I'll let you know. It's
Okay.
the total number, the total amount. Yeah.
For this year, the bridge money.
Yeah. I've got
okay.
that.
Oh, good.
So, yeah. So we're going to have a little more money come in, but again, that won't affect our budget. You guys know the money comes in. it's a really difficult issue because this budget, like you know, estimates what our fuel funding is gonna need. We may go over for that. We carry a balance forward of $1 million.
Okay, that was a question.
And
Yeah.
at one time, we had 1.7 or $1.6 million in our balance forward, and I convinced everyone to use $600,000 or $700,000 of that to reduce a previous budget. One of those really low percentage.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, so I fought for that, and I've asked year after year if $1 million is what we need to have in the bank, and year after year I'm told yes. We've got an amazing business manager, Deb Clark, who is now retiring, 45 years of service. I trust her to, when she says that $1 million in the bank gains us interest, so that's part of our revenue, and it's also there so we don't have to go out to bond, to borrow money. But I've asked year after year if we can use some of that, and I get a no. So the first amount I got out was probably the last that we can get out of that, unless there's some big change in that. I look for those savings anywhere we can, and I think that my propane bill went up twice as much. I'm paying twice as much per gallon of propane, the bill I got, so they
My oil bill was $100.
Yeah, so I think we're expecting a big increase in that area, so we save in one area, and Deb knows to push the money over to an overage in another area. So the local contribution now, the total is a 6.07% increase.
RSUI.
For RSUI, yep. And, this budget has debt servicing in it for all the new buildings, including Woolwich Central School. What I made a point in the last meeting was this budget's gonna get even bigger with the debt financing when it comes to the next school we're gonna build. And that's only gonna further, build on a strange increase to.
Jennifer, do you know how many employees there are at the Woolwich School right now? Do you have that number?
We do not, no. I can get that for you though.
Somebody, I don't know if this is at all accurate, but somebody told me the other day there's like 48 people that work in that school now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm surprised it's that well.
And I can remember back when I first got elected 30 years ago, I think there was 18 employees in the school, and there was more students than.
Yeah. Well, there's all these other, the schools are now deliverers of
I know.
social services, food,
Food.
and medical services.
Right.
And the big push in this budget right now is that there's a proposed cut to cut the nurse down to 50%. And the response to that has been, what do you do for us? If you're cutting I've heard more questioning of what the RSU does for the town of Phippsburg than ever before.
Did you go to the meeting about the school?
I was uninvited to that, no.
Oh.
But they say no. Actually, they said another word before they said no, but
Yeah.
they said no. There were a few people that came up that actually for the first time said, I want to keep the services that impact me, but can you cut? And they gave a lot of examples of where our budget can be cut. 2 people stood up and said that last meeting, first time ever, someone actually said, here's cost savings versus just
That's
spending
great.
money from the public, which is wonderful. It's my understanding, has been the last 13 years, is that when this budget gets to our district meeting, and this is a recommendation that I've heard from the administration, is that the only thing that we can do at that district meeting is increase the budget. The information that was distributed this year sounds a little different, so I've asked the superintendent to please put in writing to me, can the budget be both decreased and increased at that district meeting? I sent that question out, I have not heard a response back. It was increased last year by $200,000, and the people who
What
increased.
did I can't remember what that
Foreign
was.
language, a foreign language teacher at Bath Middle School. That was voted, according to my records, entirely by the residents of Bath. So if we don't want that to happen again, and if we want to think about a change in the numbers that are being presented, it's going to take emails to the school board from Woolwich residents. It's going to take presence at the meetings from
showing up.
Woolwich residents, and to speak up, because right now we're only hearing reasons to increase the budget.
At our town meeting, I'm literally going to beg people to go to that meeting and vote no. Because 20 people shouldn't be able to add $200,000 to the budget.
Well, they've got to show up, they've got to be
They
able
gotta
to
show
vote,
up.
and they've got to, and no, and I'm the only person that says people are struggling. And everybody else, the board says, "No, we don't hear that from your district, Jennifer, or from your town, Jennifer. We don't hear that." And so,
Jamie seems to have been more, at least at the meeting we all attended, was more vocal about that.
yeah, did I mention that there was a request to cut the budget at the beginning of last meeting, and also at the end, a request to put money back in, increase the budget?
This
By heart.
increase is another $41,000 a month, a little over $41,000 a month that we're gonna send to the school. So that puts us up to almost $500,000 a month to run the school.
Well, and so you,
I think a letter from the board, I'm gonna go ahead a little, but I think a letter from you guys is really important, because that goes, that's not just me up there saying this goes on record, so everybody else on the board can see it. I think there have been changes in it, definitely even adjust those numbers, but I think there has to be documented discussion, and there has to be more people standing up and saying on mic, on record, that I don't know how to, and I know everyone doesn't want to say that out loud, but people can send messages to the board that are anonymous, and there's ways to do that to protect people's identity and security, but
When's the,
At that meeting we attended, Jamie Dawes from Bath said that a $300,000 house in Bath is gonna see approximately a $500 a year increase. And I did the math over here, and I'm coming up with something very close to that. So every resident in Bath, in Woolwich, worth $300,000, and there's a lot of them, is gonna see somewhere between $300 and $500 more tax on their house just for the school. And I'm quite proud of the fact that my fellow board members here deserve the credit. Our municipal budget's up $25,000 this year, but we cut it $50,000 last year. So if you go back over a 2-year average, we're still $25,000 under what we were collecting 2 years ago.
And that doesn't include the county, right?
It's not
No, it's just the municipal budget.
So, and people,
That's our municipal budget.
and I keep telling people on the board, you don't understand, our county budget has gone way up, and we are, and so, all I can be is this voice.
I want to touch on that. So real quickly, we had this conversation.
We're looking, even with the money we cut that we suggested to cut out of the county budget, we're still looking at a little over $200,000 increase in the county budget. So between that and $490,000 here, we're looking at well over $1 million. What, 1.3, 1.4 million?
Very likely.
Something like that.
It's over 700.
About a million.
when is the district meeting?
That's a major increase. I mean, the county budget's like $14 million a year, but that's still 3 times our budget. And the school budget is what, 6, 8, 10 times our budget, I mean, it's just.
But, and Bath gets
And-
revenue sharing
and-
in the millions of dollars to help them pay this budget, and we don't. That's a big, huge impact, people don't
Yeah,
understand.
but
Well, the aggravating thing about it is, nobody's gonna call the school and complain. Nobody's gonna call the county and complain. But every time I bump into somebody at Shaw's, I'm gonna hear it.
Because we sent, the tax bill has our name on
We
it.
collect it. So yeah, to say a couple of things real quick, that we can be geographically disadvantaged in ways, right? So Bath has much commercial base, much, all kinds of things. And Woolwich, we have no public sewer. So it's sad that we can't live within our increases every year, so we obviously get more value, get more tax dollars, but it's only residential.
Another thing is Bath can legally hide a lot of their state assessment because of their TIF or BIW.
Yeah.
So they're not doing anything wrong or underhanded or anything else.
And they're
I'm not
also
saying
gonna
that.
sell to
They just
schools.
legally can hide
And
a
that
lot of
the
their
revenue from
state
schools.
valuation.
Yeah.
By that.
We could ask for it if we wanted to.
So
Tom's been waiting. Tom, you had a question or something?
Yes, I'm curious, not having seen the budget, is there any indication of how much the administration sections were given raises? What was their percentage increase in salaries year over year?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at my experience in decades of corporate America in the steel industry, in the chemical industry, and many years going without any increase as a norm. I know that's not normal in education, and I have also taught some, so I understand the teacher's aspect of pay versus administration pay. So I would think if we're doing so poorly nationally, that the administrator's budget at least should be tied to the performance of the students. And if we could tie the performance of the students to the administrator's ability for raises, how much money would that save?
I think, Tom, before that would happen, we've got to, at some point in time, we've got to say no to the school budget at least once. If you look, I think it was Durham this year.
Lisbon.
They had to go back to the drawing board 3 times and keep coming down until they finally got a budget passed.
But David, if you say, if
As
one
long as
town
only
says
70
no,
Right. As
It's
long
not
as only
enough.
70
It's not
people
enough.
vote on it, and you know, and 50
I don't
will
think
vote
numbers
yes.
wise, am I right? I mean, if I were to count.
Is it a majority?
Well,
of-
last year it would have been, right? So Kim, you sent me the result, so less than 500 people in the whole district voted in June on the RSU budget, and Woolwich was 70-something. There were 20-something no's and 40-something, I kept track of all that.
Like 2060.
Yeah. The clarification you and I talked about, you touched on when you started, I think that's very important, because what was sent out to us,
Yeah,
as you guys
I read
read
it.
up-
I read it.
Yeah, I
You're
sent it
right. You're absolutely right.
It says on it that we can lower that, and you're like, never been done, and so that is monumental, because if we get to May 26th,
I asked how, I said, if so, how, and exactly when does that happen?
Yeah.
Because that, I have routinely been told, it only can go up, and legally I've been advised that it can only, if it goes up, it can't be directed toward any one program. But if everybody comes and says, I
Right,
wanna keep
right.
the Bath the middle school foreign language teacher, we wanna do that, and that's why we're increasing this article, then it's understood that that's where that money should go.
Is there an article at that meeting to decide about whether to use any of the reserves to counteract the?
I have to look.
You mean
back.
like we can
Yeah.
use unfunded?
Because to me, I think that's something in this particular budget I think should be really looked at carefully, because the state subsidy went down $100. So if the RSU can kind of compensate for that through the use of the reserves, that would
Right.
really help the situation a lot.
And you're talking about the balance forward?
Yeah.
So every time I've asked that, they say, well, that's gonna help this budget, but then we're gonna have to put that much back into that reserve next year, next budget, and that's gonna increase next year's budget. So my understanding with that philosophy is that number has to remain the same.
But the state subsidy math is changing, right? I mean, it's going to improve for towns like Woolwich in the future. Right?
well,
Jennifer,
Yes.
is the overall budget still 45 million, give or take?
48 or 47.
47 change.
47,606, yeah.
47 million. Seems like a 47 million dollar budget, there has to be some nuance in there.
Well, the trouble is,
So,
go ahead.
Let me,
Go ahead.
so, if there's a motion that passes that says we want to take, I don't know, $50,000 out, $100,000 out, let's just say, do we have to specify where it comes from?
In the district meeting,
Yes.
yes, you vote per article. So you have to,
Okay, so
we'll say,
those
we'll say the
costs,
board
okay.
says this article should be passed by this much. The moderator says, are there any questions? Before, there were questions and issues that could arise, and then it would be like, then the moderator says, is there a vote requested? Then the vote would happen,
Okay.
and then it would pass for that amount.
Or it could be amended. You would make
Amended, yeah.
make a motion to amend
But-
the article.
All right, so say it's within, I don't know how I can't remember how, so it's within one of those warrant articles.
Yep.
Do I have to specify within that warrant article?
Because you
Yes.
vote per article.
That's what it says.
Right, but I mean,
That's what it
but it's
says.
not, I know, but those are big categories.
They're big numbers and big
Yeah.
categories,
And,
yeah.
and there's no, and there can be you can ask questions about where that money is
Yeah.
allocated, but it's such a huge category,
I
you're
know,
not gonna
right.
get, this is how much this
Right.
social worker costs.
So if I
At
have-
this level,
Right.
I think the best the best chance is to try to get it changed before the board adopts it.
Which is before that,
Yeah,
right,
and
right.
so you've got our next meeting to do that.
Right.
And you've gotta be, or up until that time, when you can make a strong case that you think that, you know, we should X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Or, you know, make a strong case that we really need to get our dollar amount
Yeah.
down $100,000 or something like that, then, you know, then it's
Because
gonna
of-
take that,
yeah.
but the administration, I mean, they're already, that comment on the board was like, let's add back in 50,000
I know.
every time.
Which is easier, I mean, if you're gonna make an amendment, right, it's easier to say, you know, add something, because then they'll, you know, it's easy to do that. But if you're gonna, I mean,
Right?
you know, paperwork wise, but if you wanna say, I want to cut $100,000 in this cost center, or whatever this warrant article is, it's really hard. It's like, I would think it would be really hard to say, I want it to come from, you know, do I have to do the math and go 50,000 from here?
No, you want, there's a total cost on a cost center.
And then they
Yes,
figure it out.
Yes,
Gotcha.
unless everybody votes for one program to increase it, that, at least last year for the first time, that money went to that one position,
Okay.
that one person, that one project.
Okay.
They say we don't really do that, but if
Yeah.
everyone says that's why we're increasing it, I think the understanding is that's
Jackie,
what we should do.
Okay.
you had something you wanted to
No,
add?
I was just gonna ask, I guess, so if we get an increase of $500,000, and it's 9% roughly, right? Next year, if we get 9% increase, it's on top of that.
Yes, sir.
And all I wanna tell you is, and I think you want to know, I think you guys have done a remarkable job in holding the line. But, and I hate the word but, we are gonna need a new fire truck sometime. We are not keeping up with paving. We are not keeping up. So what is gonna happen, I mean, we're giving away our rubles here, and we're not gonna be able to take care of our own house.
Yeah. What worries me is that, you know, Maine is the chronologically the oldest state in the United States right now. And Woolwich is no different than any other small town in Maine. We have a good portion of our population that is elderly. I'm 77, or almost 77. And a lot of us live on a fixed income. Okay? And you take somebody that's just keeping their head above water, and they could be property rich and cash poor. Okay? If they own a $300,000 house, and they see their taxes go up $500 this year, they're gonna buy less food, less heating oil, and God forbid, they're gonna cut back on their insulin, or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
right? And, you know, it's
There's-
just scary. I mean, we are gonna tax people out of their homes.
So I proposed to the governor and the DOE that 13 years ago, the state decided that they are no longer gonna pay for the employer portion of the Maine PERS contribution for every employee. They pushed that back onto the locals. Again, what were huge labor costs at that time, but I got pushed back to the local budget. Now the state says you have to pay these teachers up to a certain amount of money. $50,000 is the projected what they're trying to do. I've asked the person who wrote the new EPS formula and the governor's office, I said, would you consider taking back the Maine PERS contribution up to now the legally required salary levels? Because before they couldn't control how much locals would pay for their salaries, so they couldn't control how much the pension was going to be. Now I said, could you at least, if you're mandating that you pay everybody up to this point, can you just pay up to that point, that portion of that retirement? And from Deb Clark, who knows way more than I do, she said, boy, Jennifer, that would help. So that's just something to start, maybe a groundswell of. It would be across the state, it would be easy. I don't know if there's capacity in that or not.
Who'd you send that to? Send to MEPRI?
Amy Johnson.
Okay.
It drives me nuts every time I hear the governor say that they're paying 55% of the cost of education. They pay 55% of ESP, essential services and programs, which is about 40% what it costs to run the school. So they're paying 55% of 40% of the budget, which comes out, I'm no genius on math, that comes out to a lot less than 55% of the total budget. And, you know, it's sleight of hand. It's just like, and they do that with everything. It's like a homestead exemption. They don't reimburse us 100% on that. We get what, 75,
76, I think.
76% of it? So out of every dollar you get off your taxes, you're paying $24 out of your own pocket. You know?
I've also
It's
asked
just,
them
you
to
know,
start billing daycare more, just another area where we provide a lot of services that could be reimbursed through Maycare. And I've looked at the Maycare requirements to reimburse those services, and I've talked to them, and I think that I think there's a place where we, again, in the future, but this budget we're looking at right now, if you don't want to reduce what we're doing right now, you've got to have a voice, got to have a stake in that.
Can I ask about that? So we all, majority attended the first one. It was full house, and not to be critical, but it was the wrong place to have that meeting. That room was too small. Obviously.
Yeah.
It was, so how many came the other night? Was it the same amount?
Yeah, I would say about that.
Same amount, and then
Same arguments?
There were way more administrators because they had to get up and defend budget cuts that they proposed.
I see. The trouble is that whole forum. I mean, it may not bother us any, but it's very intimidating. I talked to a few residents, and do you televise those meetings?
I didn't see any cameras.
I didn't see any cameras.
There is one on the wall, and so
I mean, are they
I
like?
think it's
Are they public like ours? I mean, do they go out?
I think so, yeah.
Because that's the, I heard.
they're recorded.
Yeah, I talked to a few people that were two that were there, and they're like, it's just very intimidating. The room's packed
Yeah.
in the back, and obviously you don't want. David actually, before he spoke, am I going to get booed?
Well, what I got a kick
I do,
out of
I
that night when we went a couple of weeks ago, there were many rooms in that building, 3 times the size of that room.
That is such
They
a
must
dumb.
have- They must have anticipated the number of people that were gonna show up. And so they pack us into a little small room, there's people out in the corridor and everything. Why don't they put one of the bigger rooms?
It was the same space last year.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, technically,
Broadcasting maybe, I don't know.
well, they probably technically violate the room capacity.
Oh,
right?
of course, there was a guy out there who said, yeah.
Well, yeah, I knew when I walked in with I can't remember the chairperson's first name. When I walked in with him, and when the meeting we went to, or when I went to, and it's like, wow, this is a full house. I don't know. I just wondered if the environment for some of the folks I hear from that are just worried about cost, but they're like, you can't speak at those meetings very well. And
No, and it's very intimidating, and that's where those, if people can have their voice heard, and sent to the board, and just to say, I love education, I support our students, I pay, like we all really want this, and I don't know how to keep doing this. If this happens again, I don't know how I keep my house, my home, my yada, because I can't, I just can't afford it any longer. And if that comes, we get a lot of emails from the board saying you should definitely fund us, spend more. We get a lot of those. But we don't get a lot. And most of those are from parents and school board and school employees. So that we're missing out this whole contingency of those
Older
quiet
folk,
voices
yeah.
that have always paid their taxes on time, that have always supported our schools, that have gone to the spaghetti suppers. I mean, I was in the school system for 7 years before the consolidation, and I saw how this town comes and meets the needs of their students. But we got to find a way to get that voice back out there, I think. And I keep asking everybody, but
At the county budget meeting recently, one of the select people from West Bath came and pleaded to cut back because they said, quite frankly, we're running out of money. We're not getting taxes paid at the rate that normally paid. And they said, we're hurting. And, it's frustrating for us to try to manage a budget that we have so little control over.
At least we have
I don't know what the answer is.
we have more than half the students.
Do we really?
Really? More than that?
Don't we have half the students.
right, but your point is with one vote,
Proportionally,
Yeah.
we should be given
more representation.
more votes, yeah.
More votes.
But that's at-large folks
Well,
who
Jenny,
ran.
Jenny, we really
we
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
So one of the things I was going to mention, because we'd mentioned the new funding formula that kicks in next year.
Okay.
In addition, the next thing that's going to be studied, and it won't be in next year's, but it'll be the year after, there's the process of the same people who study the EPS formula doing the special ed changes are not in the one that's going to kick in that we just passed. But the other thing they're going to work on, and I'm glad you mentioned the economically disadvantaged thing, because typically it's been used it's figured out by the number of people who meet Title I, and that's a paper that you fill out that gets you free breakfast and lunch. But as Jenny knows, we don't do that anymore because we feed everybody. So that information is less and less accurate. But what they're going to try to do is try to figure out where, some accurate and legitimate poverty index for kids in the district to figure out where that fits in, not just the valuation. And then the other thing they were talking about doing is including some metric of people above 65 versus, and also balancing that against the number of people with kids in school. So there's an age, kind of a I don't know what it's going to look like in 2 years, but that is what they're at least researching.
When we lost free reduced hot lunch program, because I was a Title I person
Right.
paid for that, what I always told them is you have to look at the reduced numbers.
Yeah.
The free numbers, you get those count those
Yeah.
kids because they have all the food programs
Yeah.
that give them approval. It's the reduced people
Yeah.
that we lost in Woolwich
Yeah.
was the biggest
Yeah.
portion, and across the
Yeah.
board is.
Yeah.
So we are not getting the same level of Title
Well, no,
I.
that's why they got it. They know they have to figure out another way of getting at that.
Jenny, one
number.
final thing I wanted to ask you about, Dayton Old School, what's that gonna do for us? When they start building the new Dayton Old
What's that
School?
going to cost us?
I mean, we're gonna have to pay.
Right, the debt financing on it?
Yeah,
Uh,
we're gonna have to pay our portion of
The
that.
debt finance, yes, you will, yeah. I can tell you that the likelihood is that they're not gonna replace it at Dyke and Newell. They've found a brand new site.
Oh.
They're gonna combine Fisher Mitchell and Dyke and Newell. They're hoping that there's a better, higher level of state contribution in construction. The state construction formula has also been looked at, so
Yeah,
that
and
will-
actually that
will be increased, but we will still get that financing. We'll get that financing, whatever interest rate is available. And we'll pay that for the life of that building. We will not,
Do you know where they're gonna build it? They mentioned it?
somewhere on the Morse BMS campus area, maybe with existing land, maybe, I don't know if there's more land, it's very
Maybe
similar.
they'll dig up Oak Grove and put it in there.
In the formulation of that, and they have an architect that looks at, all those criteria, where we need it, that street that runs into Dyke and Wool is so narrow right now, I don't know how that would be safer for even a bigger campus back there, having taught in that building myself. So I understand those, requirements. State requires us to build certain buildings at certain sizes, but what I said this week was, to the administration, I said, we put a lot of extras in Morse, because we fundraised for them, and we
Yeah.
believed in how this had to be. If we're looking at we need to know what the debt financing number is gonna be before we as a board have to vote on additional expenses for that. We should be able to look at that projection, because
I'm a great advocate, if they really want to spend money, save money on schools, the state should design 3 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 3 high schools. You come in, you want a middle high school, pick out, you can have a 2 or a 3, and they could build it in such a way that they would expand them. And then that way they could know how many 2x4s to buy, how many windows to buy, how many doors to buy, et cetera, et cetera. And every school it works for McDonald's, every McDonald's works alike. Why couldn't every school, you drive into Brunswick, well, there's the school,
Yeah. Just a note on the voting, there's usually 2 items for our school budget. There is when we pass the budget with what the state funds, and then when we pass the extra money. So I don't know when you start making proposals to things. Like there's a state funded portion, and the second one. I'm not sure whatever your plans are, I'm not supporting one way or another, but it
seems like
calls me to that different level of what extras.
It just seems like every school, every town has to outschool the town before it, And they get a little bit bigger, a little bit fancier, and architects love flat roofs and curved walls,
I have one more question. Can you explain, how there's more, how the city of Bath has come to own these buildings than when they sell, like Morris High
That was
School?
written in the original RSU law.
I know that it's in our special law that only
Okay.
governs us, but I
Okay.
do believe it's also in statute for any other town that the town is supposed to, if they take the property back, they're supposed to take also the debt, existing debt on that building back.
Okay.
I will say that I pushed very hard for an MOU when it came to Morse, and we had an MOU in force that would have helped us a little bit with that situation.
Because there was still a debt service on it?
So that MOU said that they would, if they sold that building, they would have to refund the RSU towns a portion of that, but they didn't end up selling it in the time frame because they used it
Oh,
to
that's right, it was
house
a time frame.
Bath Dyke Newell students. And we've improved the building since then with insurance money and everything else. I've asked if we could get at least improvement money back again.
You're talking about where the Dyke Newell kids are now?
Yeah.
The old Morse High School.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I've asked if we can get improvement money back, they
What
said
if they,
that.
but what if they sell that building?
New school.
They make a
They didn't pay
huge
the-
amount of money and there are people out there waiting to buy it.
Okay, so, and then, where does that money go? Back to the,
Back to Bath.
Yeah, you're right.
Bath will get Bath, those buildings go back to the ownership of Bath. Dyke Newell Building, Fisher Mitchell Building, and Morris will all go back to Bath and they can sell them for a net profit. And that is their money, their building,
And
they
that-
have it.
and the rationale is that they gave them to the RSU, so that's what, they're getting back their property.
Despite the fact the RSU maintained them.
Well, but
Right.
Hughes School, Bath got Hughes School, and now Hughes School's now elderly housing, you know.
Apartment company.
Yeah, there's no requirement to do that, but that's just, no, that's
Okay,
there. I
okay.
mean, we could ask another MOU for a portion of that money back.
So in conclusion, David, I don't know what we do here, but me personally, I support some
Writing
letter.
something, yeah.
I know that we don't have much time to do this, so I don't know, I would move that we, I think we all decided, I would move that we maybe update.
Do you mind if I work with
I don't
Tommy to
care.
sort of?
Yeah,
No, I
let's
don't care. I just
tweak
think-
it and maybe
Yeah,
Randy,
but I'd like to
Jenny
give-
can.
My one point on this, and I expressed it with Tom earlier, the only thing I think Tom did a great job on this, but I would take out what we're asking you to preserve. I don't think we should be telling the school board.
So I think so I think maybe generally what I would say, what I was gonna do is I would move that we, the select board, send off a letter,
Send off a letter.
to the RSU and then, we just work on the details.
You know what I thought, instead of,
We don't have much time.
yeah, including that part, and thinking after this conversation, is use an example of, you know, that you talked about the increase
Yeah.
to a home,
Yeah, right.
right?
Right.
And bring it down to like a
I
reasonable.
mean, the big things that I take away, you hit on too, is sustainability, the
Well-
impact, how are we gonna get through next year? This is the third year in a row with very large dollar increases. Anyway, I won't wear it out, but.
It's just, you know, there are people in this town that are living on nothing but their social
Right,
security.
and I think that,
And that's scary.
yeah.
But if we do it this way, can't we draft it up, get it done? and-
Well, let's resolve to send the letter, and then we can, Alice and I can work on it, and then leave it in the
Send it out. Yeah.
signature folder,
Yeah, because we ought to get it, today's what, Wednesday, but
send it out this week.
by first of the week or so, yeah.
First of next week would
First of
be,
next week.
Before the next meeting, right? Can we request, I mean, if it's lengthy, you won't do it, we can't request to be read into the record at the meeting.
I can read it, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I know this, I mean,
no, I can read it, especially if there's like a full letter, maybe a synopsis, we can, you know, like, here's the bottom line that everyone can know.
I personally would like that.
I know, I'll read it.
Would you like that? All right.
so the
Well,
date,
You know, I've always given the same stump speech every year when I went to these things. I got booed one year. Because I got up, I always say, temper your passion for the school with a little compassion for the taxpayer. There are people that are suffering, and we can't afford these huge increases. And I will say, this year I actually had probably out of 90 people, I think 3 people actually applauded. when I
yes,
said
you
that.
got some applause,
Yes.
Stephen.
Yeah, so it was the first time that's ever happened. At the junior high,
27th,
a
right?
few years back, I actually got booed.
So the next one,
Yes.
the next and final last meeting, if I'm not mistaken, is the 27th.
And the district, might as well put
Well, I
on the
thought there was
calendar.
Yeah, I have it all right here if you need them.
The
Okay.
district
Yeah.
budget meeting is May 26th.
That's right. District budget meets 26th, then we're gonna get some clarification on that, but I understand what you're saying. I just, when they send all this, it's confusing.
Oh, God, yeah.
Well, great. We'll do all we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next item on the
So,
agenda is a bunch of appointments. to the committees.
Do we want to
David, one
just,
second, can I entertain a motion so that we resolve to send this letter as soon as edited copies put into the folder?
Yeah, so second your motion? Or so move?
Are there any changes?
I move,
Are there any changes, or they-
Well, we're gonna-
Well,
we're gonna-
that goes through the-
Alice and I will work on changes.
Yeah, so I second his motion.
All right, all those in favor? Okay.
Awesome.
All right, let's move on and do committee updates. I'll read through them.
See you, Jenny.
We'll do them all at once, okay?
Yep.
All right, Jack Shaw to the Board of Appeals. Linda Coffin to the Solid Waste and Recycling Committee. Jonathan Appleyard, same thing, Solid Waste and Recycling. Evan Holbrook, Conservation Commission. Evan Holbrook to the member of the Agricultural Forest Resources Committee. I didn't even know that you came next.
They're already on the committee, but they just never,
Was that a
Okay.
statute?
Me as needed, but
I
not
mean, it's needed.
So
But
I
we
entertain a
need to get
motion
these-
to appoint all these people to the board.
So moved.
Yeah, second.
second,
Okay, those in favor?
Yeah.
I'll start signing them and pass them down.
There's only one little, are we all done? No, we're not.
No, we can, if you have something, bring it up.
Oh,
while
the
we're
only thing I
signing.
forgot, Allison, was we both, you and I are gonna be at the County Spirit of America.
yes, yes,
So
we'll do that.
Allison and I are going to the County Spirit of America presentation, which was Alan Green at
Thank
last
you
year's
for
town
reminding
meeting.
me.
And so that
April
is
30th.
the day after town meeting. That's why I remember it. And he's obviously knows. He did.
Yeah, they reach out to the.
Yeah, and I called him, he said he did, he's confirmed.
Okay.
Anybody have anything further for the board? Yes, sir.
My name's Nicholas Emily. I'm actually a resident of West Bath, but I'm a member of the VFW from Bath, and we meet in Pittsburgh. And I just wanted to let you guys know that we conduct an annual contest. It's called the Voice of Democracy, and this is a national thing that the VFW has been doing since 1947. Well, we sponsored a young lady. She won our district. She won the entire state of Maine. We sent her down to Philadelphia last Saturday. Okay, so this is pretty recent. And she won. Now here's the thing, she won for the entire country. This has never happened from Maine. Maine has never had a champion from the Voice of Democracy, and she's from Woolwich. That's why I'm here tonight. I'm not here to tell you I'm campaigning, I'm just here.
Can you tell us who it is?
Olivia Juniak.
Juniak,
Yes.
lives up the street from me.
Olivia, she's a valedictorian.
Yeah.
She's already done the basic training, and she hasn't even graduated high
She's
school
Coast
yet.
Guard.
Yep, she's
Yeah.
Coast Guard.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. So I want to invite you all May 6th to the SPAC Select Board meeting at 6 o'clock, where they're going to honor her. And I would highly recommend the same from her own hometown.
May 6th?
May 6th at 6 o'clock, yeah.
No,
My
we
whole-
have a select
My
board
whole
meeting.
VFW is super proud of her.
Yeah.
And the whole state is proud of her. And it's just amazing. Like I said, it's been going on since 1947. Maine has never won. And we did last Saturday, and she's from Woolwich. So be
So-
proud, be
yeah.
proud. That was amazing. She knocked it right out of the park.
Bath City Council.
Yes.
lives in on that.
Yeah. Yeah, third floor, 6 o'clock at May 6th.
Great, thank
So
you.
I just want to let you all know that. I
Well,
thought
thank
that was
you.
pretty important.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if nobody has anything else, a motion to adjourn?
So move. Second.
Done.